What's up, everybody?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. What you sipping on tonight?
I've actually just poured
Going to the
the
old
Buffalo
faithful.
Trace. Yeah, I knew I had that bottle here, so I was like, well, I'm just going to take a glass of my ice. I'll pour it.
We keep a pretty good stash in this place. We're getting kind of low. Like our Calumet Farms.
Well, and I knew that wasn't a full bottle, but I do not drink a lot of bourbon this time of year.
Really?
I just pretty much
Beer? Bud Light?
just about the only bourbon I drink this time of year is sitting right here.
Really?
I'm more of a beer guy anytime than I am a bourbon guy. But and I take that back. Like when my wife and I went out for our anniversary, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You know what? I had a nice bourbon.
What'd you get?
Well, actually, we went to Flight.
Okay.
Which, of course, they're known for their flights of food and everything. I had I believe they called it the Kentucky Legends. It had Eagle Rare. Gosh, what else was on there?
Well, the Kentucky Legends.
If you hadn't put me on the spot, I had Eagle Rare.
Any Old Fitzgerald? Or not Old Fitzgerald?
No.
Colonel? No, that's Colonel E. Taylor. Have some Colonel E. Taylor?
No, there was one bourbon that I had not tried on the flight, and the other two I'd had and had regularly. I'm drawing a blank. Eagle Rare was one of the three.
That's kind of making me mad because I ought to know the Kentucky Legends because Eagle Rare, if it's the ones I'm thinking of that are like the big, widely known ones, there's Eagle Rare. E.H. Taylor was there?
No, it was not E.H.
Well,
Taylor.
that was the Colonel E.H. Taylor that I was talking about. Dang. Well, that's. Yeah, I'm curious now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to their website and see if they got it on the menu. But yeah, so I take out of this. But I mean, practically speaking, the only bourbon I drink this time of year is sitting right here on Wednesday or Thursday night.
Man, I will tell you, I bought a 6-pack the other day. I don't drink a lot of beer. I drink pretty much bourbon. And I'm actually having Wheatley vodka tonight because I did have a little bit of a headache earlier, and vodka doesn't seem to increase my headache. But beer I'm like, I have to be in the beer mood. Like the other day, we had been working hard all day. It was hot. And on the way home, I swung in the grocery store and I got a 6-pack of Coors Light. And when I got home, that Coors Light really hit the spot. Like it was just, but I had one, but beer just sits heavy on me. Like it kind of just sits heavy on my stomach. Whiskey and stuff don't sit heavy on me. That's the biggest thing for me.
It's like my go-to when I get home, I crack open a beer and like go down to the barn.
Yeah.
And check cows or whatever. Or I'm, and this may sound bad, but like if kids want to play ball out in the backyard and, I'm grab a beer. I can't really.
Yeah. And when they need to go to school in the morning, you crack a beer open and take them to school.
Right. I'm cooking them breakfast. But like we're throwing a baseball or softball out in the backyard, I'm not going to have a bottle of bourbon out there and sipping on it.
Well, might make for interesting game.
I don't know. It's easy to do. And I don't know. I've always kind of, just.
It's a ritual.
It's easy to do. It's I don't know. It's just, see, I'm a beer guy. Like I like beer. I like everything. I know that like a lot of the regular beer dudes like make fun of the craft beer dudes. The craft beer dudes making fun of the shitty. Like I will drink any of it except Bud Light. Yeah, it's hard though.
Well, you got the Coors shirt on.
I did wear my Coors.
See, I've been
the banquet beer.
Yeah, I've been a Coors guy since I started drinking beer.
I'm so like I have not been a Bud Light guy in a long time. Now I drink a lot of Busch Light. Yeah, and I drink Natty Light, and I've cut all that.
Because see, Busch and Natty are both people I've seen where some dudes on Facebook were like, I don't drink at Bud Light anymore, and then they'll talk about Busch, and I'm like, well, you're still sending them the money.
Which the bad thing about it, like when you really look at the family, like I forget who owns Anheuser-Busch now. It's like
It's not American.
InBev or something.
Yeah.
Like all the beers, and it's like, oh my God, like, yeah, you got to watch.
Michelob.
Like, which I knew, yeah, Michelob, Busch, Natty, all those were under the.
Isn't there some craft
they were all
beers?
Anheuser-Busch. There's some, like I know Shock Top falls in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I consider that a craft beer, but there's, I think even some of the like, quote unquote Mexican beers fall in there. And I'm like, damn. But yeah, if you made me pick from like one of the big brand light beers, Coors Light was always my go-to.
Yeah.
And I would even go Miller before I go Bud. But yeah, now I'm not. It's pretty much Coors Light. I like to drink a lot of local beers if I can. I picked up some Ghost River.
Well, they're queer
tonight.
as hell too. Did you see their shit?
Oh, for Pride Month?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I follow them.
Well, all our craft beers from Memphis are big in like that Midtown
Hipster
area. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're, it's everything that the people that make fun of craft beer make fun of. And so I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, if you walked in there, it'd be a guy with skinny jeans, probably rolled up at the ankles, wearing like some
big beard, wearing a beanie hat.
Yep.
Flannel shirt, unbuttoned with the sleeves rolled. Yeah, like.
That's exactly.
Fits,
and that's one of the things I do appreciate about like your Coors Light, kind of those kind of drinks. But that's what I like about like my buddy that has Big Truck Farms. Big Truck Farm. He literally was like,
I wish they would sell it here.
I want to get it in the farm store. And Kip is on board, but I got to get an alcohol license. But Kip literally was like, I wanted to create a craft beer that wasn't for pussies. Like,
right.
Like,
well, that's why, like, the people that make fun of craft beers, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, you can't deny that. But I always like, and then there's like the craft beer people that want to shit on like light beer. I'm like, dude, when I'm mowing the yard, I'm not going to drink an oatmeal stout. And I love a damn oatmeal stout. Like
I don't know if I've had oatmeal stout.
Or just any kind of stout. Like
like the coffee beer kind of.
Yeah, well, one of the
got to get up to get down, man.
Yeah, it's a coffee stout.
That's good.
That's a good beer. Yeah,
that is good.
But you ain't going to drink that on the golf course, or while you're fishing.
If you want to puke like a little while later.
Yes, like you better be in the air conditioning. Like when it's hotter than hell, I want to drink an ice cold Coors Light.
See, but I am weird when I get home sometimes because it is a ritual for me. That's where I have to be cautious, especially with the fact that I love bourbon so much. I would find myself looking forward to the ritual of getting home and fixing that glass of bourbon, and then I'd walk out there and feed my cows, take care of the chickens, and I just enjoy. I'd have my glass of bourbon, and I'd just set it down, get the feed, and pick it up and go and feed, and so. But I enjoy the ritual too much, like to the point where I'm like, I've had a drink of bourbon every night of the week for 2 weeks straight. I probably need to ease back. Now, and I'm not getting drunk. I have one glass, but I did. That's why.
That thought crossed my mind with the beer. I'm like, man, I drink 2 or 3 beers every night.
Well, I have a buddy that drinks a 6-pack every night. That's getting pretty extreme.
And
that's 600 calories at least.
I can't tell you the last time I drank 6 beers in one day. If I thought hard enough, I ain't gotta go that far back. But that's not like even on Friday or Saturday night, I don't do that. But I might get to 4. But
you know how shitty I'd feel if I drank 6 beers? My stomach would be a wreck if I drank 6 beers.
I'd be fine that night. Now the next morning, just depending on
how spunky you feel the next morning.
Did I drink those between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. or did I drink them all between 7 and 9? Kind of thing. But I don't know. But you're talking about like the whole pride thing. So I needed me another pair of running shoes. I've tried to get back going running. Yeah. And of course I'm like, well shit, all the big name brands, like I ain't going for none of them. I'm wearing a pair of those right now, but I've had these shoes for several years.
Brooks? Is that?
No, but
Nike.
But I wasn't going to bring up the name, but it was Brooks. And Brooks is and I guess they're a big name brand, but they're like,
oh man, are they?
I went to their website and God dang it. Of course, it's June. You ought to know it's going to be there.
Man, that's what I got is some Brooks.
All the pride. And like, look.
I shouldn't even be surprised though.
I don't care about gay people. I don't don't care if somebody's gay. I don't care if you're gay, Logan.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I sit right here next to you and talk. I don't need
Why does your
lifestyle
sexuality matter?
validated in a pair of rainbow freaking shoes. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a damn?
Hey, when you meet somebody,
And it shouldn't bother me that much because I was like, dang, because one of our local stores sells Brooks. I was like, I'm going to go buy a pair from them. But I went to the website, just kind of
yeah,
see, I was like, I ain't really ready to buy a pair right away. But I was like, damn, like, I don't even want to buy a pair of them.
When you meet somebody for the first time, do you say, hey, I'm Bobby Lee Hanks. I am heterosexual.
I'm Bobby Lee, and I like vaginas. You know?
Yeah, like, and if someone goes to your Instagram page, does it say
he,
him, heterosexual, straight king? Because like, if you go to like this is what gets me.
Well,
you go to
the gay people I know, the vast majority of them aren't like that.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't know they're gay. You go to their
like our buddy
Instagram.
Lee. You would never know that Lee is gay.
Right. But like, yeah, they don't have their pronouns in their profile.
Yeah.
Or in their bio. They don't have like the rainbow flag there. Or the Ukrainian flag. Like that's what shit blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like that's their whole identity isn't wrapped up in, them having a wiener and them liking wieners.
Yeah.
Like they just like
Their sexuality literally becomes their identity.
And I'm not gonna sit here and say that what they do is normal, and then I agree with that lifestyle, but like they just happen to be gay. They're a normal person or they're otherwise normal. They happen to be gay, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I even have friends that I would consider that fall into that category.
Yeah.
And they're normal gay people. And then you got the other gay people that like, but then I really think a lot of like the Pride Month people aren't even gay people. It's just virtue signaling.
Man, I don't know.
People.
You ever seen them, like the videos on Instagram of them pride parades?
Well, you got the extremists.
If they
out
ain't
there.
gay, they're trying hard.
Well, no. You've got that. But
there is, I get what you're saying. Like, it's kind of like, it's the same as the white people that continuously tell black people how racist white people are. And like, it's always that.
Or
like,
even black people that don't, follow all the quote unquote guidelines of being a black person.
Yeah. And then they're an Uncle Tom.
Yeah. And so like, well, who's the racist here now?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yep.
But, yeah. And so it's almost like, like those rainbow shoes. I'd bet good money that the majority of those shoes are bought by people that aren't gay. But
Probably.
They're virtue signaling, straight people.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, look at how woke I am. I support the gay pride,
When I see a straight person have the rainbow, like profile picture on Facebook, it always just kind of makes me chuckle a little bit.
I'm like, what? And look, I fully support people doing whatever they want. But like when companies choose to do that, well, then I may choose to do business elsewhere. So
yeah,
whatever.
No, I'm with you. Well, that's why I like, we talked about it last week, that official public square or whatever. Whenever we talked about it, that's.
Well, I actually went on there and I searched like running shoes on that, and it's like we have no results to come.
So we're doomed when it comes to running shoes.
Yeah.
So just don't run. It's really
apparently. Or I got to run to my old ones that I've already bought.
Well, I do have a pair. I bought a pretty new pair of Brooks Revels or something, and I really like them. They're good. When I was machining, I wore Brooks. I think Brooks, because I was standing all day. They make great shoes.
Yeah, when you're standing on concrete, that's kind of where my daily routine is, on concrete or tile floors, and so I appreciate a good pair of.
I'll tell you what trips me out probably the most is, and I had this conversation. So in one of the groups I'm in on Instagram, we've got a vast range of personalities. And for the most part, we're all very like kind of more of the, I guess you'd consider us more like that alpha male mindset. Like it's a group of that kind of guys, like-minded, but some of them are very open-minded in elements. And like I would err on the side of not particularly open-minded. Like it's funny we're talking about this because today I actually had this conversation in the group, and I was talking about how we were talking about the pride thing, and the guy was saying how he's like, man, I don't care what you do, but he's like, I get so tired of every time I watch a new TV show, the first thing I'm going to see is going to be like two dudes making out. Yeah. And he's like, I just can't stand it. And I was like, that's why I don't watch hardly any new TV shows. And because there was a clip someone shared of the show. I've never watched it, The Modern Family.
Yeah, I've never. But
it was a hilarious clip. There's apparently this dad. His name is Phil. He's like your typical dad. And Sofia Vergara, she's married to Joe Manganiello. She's very attractive Latino. She's built in all the right ways. And she's in the show. Well, she speaks kind of with her Hispanic accent, and she meets Phil for the first time. She's got on this like kind of tight fitting dress, and she's got big boobs, big butt, everything. And she's like, nice to meet you. And he's like, he goes, what a lovely dress. And she goes, nice to meet you. Yeah, Phil. And she says Phil in a way that sounds kind of like feel. So Phil's like, well, all right, I don't mind if I do. And he starts like rubbing her dress and like her hips. And his wife comes over and she's like, stop it, like slaps him. And she's like, she said Phil, not feel. Like, and so I was like, that looks pretty funny. I never seen that before or this show. And they were like, you wouldn't like it because it's got a lot of gay shit in it. And I'm like, gosh, damn it. And so we were talking because this dude he lives in like the city in Texas, like, which it sounds funny, but the big city in Texas, that's big city now. Like,
oh yeah, well, especially like Austin.
I think that's where he's at.
Oh yeah, Austin. The people that I know that are from Texas, like they won't claim Austin.
Yeah, it's kind of like Nashville for us, really.
I have been saying that for the last 2 or 3 years. Nashville is to Tennessee as Austin is to Texas. It's going there quickly.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. And then that Austin for years was like the hip town to go visit. Like Nashville's like the number 2 to like only Vegas for like bachelorette parties. Like it's become, but damn, it has become a liberal cesspool.
Oh, it's the hipster capital.
But people from Texas refer to Austin as San Francisco of the South.
Oh, okay. I'll have to remember that.
That's what they call it, San Francisco of the South.
I got to remember that. Well,
and these are Texans, but they would gladly give Austin away. People in Tennessee talk about giving Memphis to Mississippi or Arkansas.
Yeah,
and
they would give Austin up.
Yeah,
if they
would. Which I don't think Austin's a little more centrally located. It's not right on the state line like Memphis is. But
yeah, I told him, I said there's only 2 things that come out of Texas, and that's steers and queers. But I told him, I said, dude, you got to understand where I'm coming from. I said, growing up, I said, I think about the quote in Batman or Dark Knight with Bane is like, he turns the lights off on Bane, and Bane is like, oh, you think the darkness is your friend? And he's like, I was born in it, molded by it. And that's what I'm like, man, when I was a teenager and even younger, I said, the shop is where I was at all the time. And I said, this was World War II veterans that hung out all the time. The conversations that I overheard would blow people's minds today. Like the non-politically correct things that I heard on a daily basis would absolutely blow people away.
Yeah.
And I mean, and to me, when I look back, these were men's men, man. Like, and at the time I didn't hardly realize it because I was young and stuff, but like, dude,
that's why they're called the greatest generation. I mean, they literally saved the world in many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and
so see that's where a lot of my views are built off of what I heard from them, which the guy I was kind of arguing with, he was like, well, I feel like that's kind of weak to not have changed. And I said, but I never found a reason to disagree. There were certain things they said that I obviously am more open-minded to. Like I won't share some of the stuff, but like I'm definitely not as hardcore as they were. But for the most part, I mean, I don't have a reason to disagree.
Well, like on the gay thing, like again, I'm like, okay, whatever. Do your thing, man. It doesn't bother me. And again, most of the gay people, like I know, are just like, yeah, like I don't, like my entire identity is not wrapped up in the fact that I am homosexual.
Yeah.
Like that's a part of me, but I'm a lot more interesting than just that.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I've had, good relationships, as a friend with people that.
I'm glad you verified that last part.
Right. No, and some of them, like, you wouldn't even know they were gay, and then, until you get to know them, you're like, oh, okay, I guess maybe I could see that kind of thing, or no, that totally came out of left field.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay.
Yeah, well, I told him, I went to school with a dude. We all pretty much had an idea that he was, but he never said anything in high school. Post high school, he married a dude, and nobody was shocked. And then, but I tell you what,
and like you didn't really care. Like,
I didn't care.
Good for him.
Our 10-year class reunion. I tell you what, actually, like, me and him had a great conversation. I shook his hand, talked to him, enjoyed chatting with him. That little shit ass, he lives in Orlando, and like, we got people that live 15 minutes away that didn't come to the class reunion. And this little shit flew from Orlando to come to the class reunion. So I'm like, dude, I appreciate your gay ass coming more so than like they said.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't care if I don't have to see it, and like, then I don't care.
And like that, like, obviously y'all have a good friendly relationship, and that's what, like, a lot of the gay people I've really gotten to know, like, we would even get comfortable enough around with them. We would joke them about being gay. Just like,
I never got to that point with it. Like, right. Well, I'm going to say his name, but I won't say his name out of being nice. But
yeah, and they thought it was funny because, like you can make fun of me for being bald. And,
yeah.
And,
that was the best thing about it.
We were on a good enough relationship. Like, and they thought it was funny. Yeah, I'm the gay dude, whatever,
Yeah, like if you need to siphon gas out of the car and you're like, who around here could siphon this the best? Hey, John, get over here.
And that would be something the particular person think about. He would get a kick out of that. But it was some of the stuff that, like, we would joke about. And I'm thinking, this is probably a while ago since I had really spent any time with this person. But like nowadays, like, I kind of think, and like, he was like a good sport about it, thought it was funny. We were buddies, we could talk football, whatever. But now, like, I think back on some of the stuff, it's like, I kind of cringe. So I'm like, nowadays, if somebody overheard me, like, having those conversations with him, they'd be like, that's insecure to his lifestyle. I'd be like, which he would have probably told him to F off.
Yeah.
This is all in good fun,
Yeah.
If I didn't like him, we wouldn't be able to have that kind of, fun conversation. But
dude, before we finish on that.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about homosexuality.
Well, I'm going to shift gears to race, another sensitive topic.
This is our pride.
That's what I was thinking. This is our pride episode. One of the best things ever when I went to tech school, because Bobby and I both went to Rosemark. It's a pretty dominantly white school. There was like 2 black kids in the whole school. I didn't have a problem with them, but I just never had any interaction with them. And so I go to tech school, and it was still a lot of whites in there, but there was one black dude in my class, and man, me and him became like super good buddies, and it was fun as crap having like a black friend that you're like legitimately close to.
Yeah,
because we would say the most racist shit to each other every day.
Yeah,
like, and he would give it back to me, I'd give it back, like, and it made it fun. But
well, when you're good friends with somebody, you get to the point where you
insult your friends.
Oh yeah,
that's what you do.
My short buddies, we make all these short jokes in the world.
Yes.
Like my brother, I give him hell about shit that, like, if it was somebody I didn't know or I didn't have a great relationship with my brother, like, I wouldn't be able to say those things.
Yes.
But like, and I just give him hell.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you do that with people you're close with.
Well, that's what there was. If
you didn't like him, it would have been just a generic, like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, instead I'm like, man, they're selling watermelon and fried chicken today at lunch. You want to go? And he'd be like, man, screw you, like, and then he'd be like, well, I can't remember what all he'd say to me, but he would like make fun of my music or something.
Oh yeah.
But it was funny because there was this one kid in there who was like freshly out of high school, and he was real weird and dorky, and we called him Ralph. That wasn't even his name, but he just looked like a Ralph. And he said something to the dude, like trying to cut up with him, like me and him did, and he got like chastised quickly. Like he was like, dude was like, my black buddy was like, you can't talk to me like that. Like don't you ever say that again. Like he like got on to him, and he's like, well, man, you know, you and Logan, I've seen y'all, and he's like, it ain't the same. You know,
right? Yeah, so
it is interesting though, but yeah, that's our pride chat for this month. Because let's see. Now we put an episode out last week. Didn't we?
Yeah. We just, I guess it was week before last we missed. But
yeah, but we were in June last week, so we really should have opened Pride Month with this discussion.
I think we mentioned Pride Month last episode.
We talked about Australian cigarettes in the last episode, so we did kind of have a pride run there.
We did. But
well, yeah, no, on the planting front, I don't remember how many acres I had planted last week, but I'm probably not any more than I was, because I still lack about 120 acres. And they did come out and look at my tires.
Oh yeah,
he had to.
Which I've talked to you since then, but we hadn't talked about it on here.
Yeah, he. So for people wondering about my tires, you know, I thought I was going to have like basically about 10 flat tires. And apparently word was even like going around about how bad my tires got, because when we went to the tractor pull, Marcy and I and the kids did.
Well, we got all these people listening to us.
I know. Well, Saturday night, like I was there, and another farmer, he's an older guy. I was chatting with him, and he goes, yeah, man. He was talking about he had something happen. He said, I called, needed help. And they were like, man, they headed to Logan's. He's got like 8 flat tires. And he was like, damn. And so, but they came out there, and man, they dug out that the guy was digging the stuff out. And then while he was changing tires, I got the thing and was plugging it out, or trying to dig them out. And we just dug the stuff out of like all the tires. There was stuff in all the tires, and he patched the one that was flat. Like one of the branches had pierced through all the way, and he got it out and he patched it and kind of did some stuff to that tire, and then he replaced 2 tires on the planter. I mean, it's still going to be a pretty nice bill. Like one planter tire is probably, you know, we're probably talking $600 or $700.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be a good bill, but in the grand scheme, I think I got out of there a lot better than I thought. But did I tell you that it was in my sprayer tires too?
You'd already sprayed that.
No, I sprayed a different field. Apparently so it was 2 fields, and
they had just been grown up in small little saplings.
It was it was Bradford pear, because I've got some. Dad was like, he was just like blown away, because we went out there, me and Mr. Cookie walked out there. He nearly died of a heart attack because we had to walk a long ways, and he was like, they told me he was going to die. But we walked out there and we gathered a bunch of them, because it would be like it'd be like 3 or 4 inches tall of a branch that had, like of a little tree that had been cut off. And the guy,
so it wasn't even like the tree itself.
It was the tree. Yeah, okay. It was the tree. It was like basically the little stump of the trees that was punching into my tires. And I talked to the guy that owns the place, and he was like, man, I had bush hogged it. Well, when he had bush hogged it, it like cut them all off jagged.
Yeah.
So it was just like little, and when the further down we walked, they were everywhere. So like I had to just abandon that field.
But you'd already planted it.
I had planted it. It was 20 acres, laid great. I was looking forward to working it.
Planted it in beans.
Yep.
Yeah.
And luckily had not fertilized it yet, but I am going to lose that one. And I talked to the guy, and he was like, man, I get it. You know, don't go back in there. You know, I don't want you to get ruining more tires. Well, on the other side of the ditch, I had already planted it, and it didn't seem as bad to me. Well, when I was spraying it, I started to pay attention, and I was over there spraying it, and they had already fertilized it. And while I'm spraying it, I started looking around, and every now and then I would see the little tree sticking up. And I was like, oh shit. Well, when I got out of there, went over to fill up, I got to looking, and there was some stuff stuck in my tires on the sprayer. It didn't give me any flats, and I was able to like dig them out. But at this point, I'm going to just have to to go for it because I've now planted, fertilized, and sprayed that place.
What are you going to do for the other side?
Nothing. Only thing I told Mr. Cookie, we were talking, I said, the only thing I could do at this point would be to take the bulldozer over there and put a disc behind the bulldozer. You know, some guys would pull a disc with a bulldozer. You could do that because obviously you ain't going to get a flat tire.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, if you pull a disc over, but how do you get a disc pulled over it?
Yeah, you'd have to pull it with like a bulldozer. Or if somebody had a track, it'd be nice to have like a track tractor.
Yeah.
But, I was like, well, we could pull a bulldozer over it. But, at that point, it's 20 acres. And you're starting to, when you start figuring in the cost of like, all right, I'm going to have to haul the bulldozer over there, burn the diesel. Like, at that point, you're like, it's probably not really worth that much for, if it was 200 acres or something, But for 20 acres, I just don't think that it's really worth it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. I mean, even the tire dude was like, I've been doing this for a long time. He's like, I ain't never seen anything like this. And yeah, it's just little brittle Bradford. You could like snap them with your hands. But I pulled one out of the tire. I guarantee you it was that long. Like it had drove all the way through the tread. It went in the cleat. And like I got it out of there. And it was 3 or 4 inches long.
Damn.
It was crazy. But needless to say, we got that took care of. I've gotten planted all the way. I guess I have planted probably more since we last talked. That's probably still 200 and something in. All I'm down to is mostly that last bit of ground I picked up that has to be disked, and I'm turbo tilling behind the disc. We've had 3 flats on the disc so far. The blades have gotten loose twice now.
Need some Loctite.
Yeah, well, the nut ain't getting loose. That's what we can't. It's one of the old discs. We don't ever pull a disc anymore.
Yeah. Why do you hate the environment?
I know. Yeah. Well,
you hate the planet,
and I'm either poisoning it or hating the environment.
You had like back-to-back videos on the internet. One was at a tractor pull, polluting the planet.
Black smoke matters.
And then you were discing a field.
And then the next one, I was talking about spraying. I did have somebody comment on there. I was kind of a smart ass. Somebody commented on the one where I was talking about planting green.
Yeah.
And they were like, what are you spraying with? And I know what they were saying. They wanted me to say the chemicals I was using. And I just said a John Deere 4730. Yeah. And they said, no, they said, thanks, but I meant what chemicals. So I used the street name and not I said, and I'm spraying an off-brand Roundup, so I said Honcho, I like listed what it is, and they've never heard of any of these chemicals.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if they Googled them that they could find out what they are. So that's kind of what I've figured out. I've even thought about taking it a step further, like some of the pre-emerge, like if they learn the names of them, I'll just be like, well, I'm spraying Metribuzin, use some of their science names to kind of further throw them off.
Yeah.
Be like, why do you give a shit what I'm spraying? Like that gets on my fucking nerves. Like, that drives me nuts. This stuff of like the glyphosate and everything, I see things every day. Like I've unfollowed so many accounts because it'll be talking about the glyphosate and this, glyphosate and that. We need to be eating organic and all that shit drives me absolutely bonkers. Would it be nice to get away from glyphosate, paraquat? Oh, hell yeah. You know what I mean? You've talked about it. Like, I would love a world where there was no chemical there, but it just ain't going to damn happen.
Not anytime soon. But you get one of them flame-throwing sprayers.
I would like to have one of those. That's pretty sweet looking.
Yeah.
Got like the big propane tank on there.
It'd just be cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it'd work at all, but it'd be cool.
Well, the fields that I planted green, I guess it'd be like an inferno.
Yeah, I don't know that it works there.
I'd definitely have to start in the center, I guess, and like spray my way out because that could get a little out of hand, get kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
But no, I'm down to, like I said, about 120 acres. Tomorrow I'm going to plant, it's not big. I'm going to plant a plot for UT Ag. They want to test some Group 3s, and so I'm going to plant some of those, and I'm hoping to turbo till, maybe get on the planter tomorrow. I'm hoping in about 2 days, 2 to 3 days of the max being done.
Yeah. I think there's a little rain this weekend, so you better get after it.
Hey, it won't hurt my feelings if it comes along.
Yeah. Did you get any rain this morning?
I did. We actually didn't plant today. I tell you, I took a day. We went and emptied the planter, got the seed out of it, and kind of got it ready to go into this next group. I'm planting some 4.9s at this one field. And, man, after that, I kind of took the day off because I was like, I needed it. I hadn't took a day in a long time.
Yeah, we got a 60% chance on Sunday. And then again on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I say 60. This is so weird. It's a 58% chance every one of those days.
Oh, really? 58?
Yes. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it's a 58% chance.
What an odd number.
And for it to be that exact number every day.
Every day.
That's what I got the last of my first cutting baled yesterday. So, yeah, I welcome the rain, too. Bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, I planted my last beans. I don't want to do that again this year, but last year I planted my last beans June 23rd.
Yeah.
So if I finish in the next few days, I'm substantially further ahead than where I was.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm literally down to the last, like, I'm kind of, at this point, my gears have slowed drastically. Like, I don't have that, when I was in the middle of planting, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to plant till midnight tonight. Now I'm like, shit, I'm tired. Like, I'm going home. Yeah. I mean, I've reached it. I tell everybody farming, especially row cropping, is a series of burnouts. Like, you are so excited to start planting, putting seed in the ground. By the time you get done planting, you never want to see a planter again.
Yeah.
Then you just move to the sprayer, and you move to the combine, and it's the same every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can say that. That's, which I don't know that I got quite to that point. The farming and the tractor time is still therapeutic for me because I spend 4 full days a week dealing with the general public. So
you'll appreciate this from a veterinarian standpoint. I've talked to a woman today that's involved with the extension service, and she had brought the seed. And we actually got talking about farm stress, and she was talking about how there's apparently like a government grant because farmers are, the suicide rate is astronomical amongst farmers, and like they're just stressed to the max. And I said, yeah, I said I was like, I'm anxious as hell right now. Like when I was talking to her, I was like, I'm anxious as hell right now, and I was like, don't know why, but so we talked about that, and she said her husband at the time was a veterinarian, and they had moved to this town, and he was a large animal vet. And she was like, the stress that they deal with is actually really high. And she goes, I'll never forget. She said one time somebody walked their horse to our home. Like they found out where we lived. And she said he was at work at the office, but they brought the horse to our house. She said, I was home and they knocked on the door and were like, is Dr. So-and-so here? And she was like, no, he's at work. You can call him. And they're like, well, my horse, had like it's something wrong with its leg. Can you do something now? And she's like, no, we can't. Like, he's not even here. Right. And this is our home. Like, So I said, yeah, I said, my cousin, I said, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that reach out to me wanting my cousin and them's phone number. And I'm like, I can't just give you their phone number because I don't want you, you don't want them calling it like.
Yeah, we have a specific number for our office.
Yeah.
Like that is made for people to call.
Yes.
When you need veterinary services.
I think it's hard for people to grasp. It's kind of like your mechanic. Like if you have a mechanic that you get to work on your car all the time, you probably don't have his personal number, unless you're buddies. But like if your car starts making a weird sound at like 8:00 at night and the parts, like the mechanic shop's closed, you probably can't call the mechanic at 8:00 at night and be like, man, what is going on? Like you're going to have to take your car up there. Right. I think people just struggle with that, with probably the vet thing, because they're like, it's my animal, it's my family.
Well, and there are emergency rooms that just like for people.
Yeah.
I always use that. I'm like, if I called my regular doctor this time of night, like one, I don't have his number.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like, go to the emergency room. Like it's either bad enough you go to the emergency room, or if it's not that bad, call us in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of, you know, and sometimes you're not sure and you end up going to the emergency room and you didn't need to. And I mean, that sucks, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's like I've got, you know, we have friends that like, if they called and needed to ask you a question, like, I'm like, you know.
Well, and plenty of people have my number. And,
yeah.
And most people have my number are people that, like, no, I want them to call me.
You're okay with them having their number.
Yeah. But, yeah, at some point, like, yeah. And I've had clients just straight up ask me if they could have my cell phone. And it's a little bit of uncomfortable. I'm like, no, I mean, that's.
For anybody wondering, we will put Bobby Lee's number in the description below on this episode.
Well, and I'll tell you this, it doesn't matter because I don't answer my phone. If I don't know the number, like if the number's not in my phone, I don't answer it.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're and every now and then, like it's legit, like somebody that I need to talk to, and I'm like, oh crap, you know, leave me a message, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. But
that's how I am. If I don't know the number, they better leave a voicemail.
Yeah. And if it's like some random person I don't know that somehow got my number with a problem with an animal, like, until I want to be like, look, by the time we did all this, the emergency room is about 45 minutes away. By the time you call me, get a hold of me, we get everything, it's going to be longer than that before I'm going to be able to meet you.
Yeah.
If I was even willing to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And two, if it's like we're sitting here right now, it's 9:45 at night. I go to my office and meet somebody. It's just me and them. And I think of myself as being pretty capable, but at the emergency room, they got a whole staff. They're ready to do all the crap that I don't normally ever do because technicians do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be relatively limited on what I can do for you compared to the emergency room for sure. So, yeah, there's a system in place for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, you kind of made me think of a recent thing that just happened. Yesterday, I had to swing by and pick up Mr. Cookie. We were headed to the field, and he said, "Man, did you hear what happened to the two farmers out in like Collierville?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Well," he said, "they got robbed at gunpoint." And I said, "Really?"
Damn.
Well, it turns out it wasn't farmers, but it was like a Mexican landscape, but they were working in a field or something, he was telling me. But apparently two guys rolled up on them, and they're in like tactical gear, and they get out and they said they're bounty hunters, and they needed help finding some location or something, and so they kind of distract you. Well, then they just pull guns on them, and they robbed them. And it's done happened a couple of times.
Just took cash off of them?
I guess so. And it's happened at Dunlap Orphanage over here. Man, because Tipton County Sheriff has done come out and he's like, hell no, this ain't flying in our town. And like fired up about it, which, you know.
That reminds me of something.
Have you seen the bounty hunters?
No, but a friend had posted something about they had caught somebody. I don't think it must not have been this, but it just reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, I never read that message. But
well, that's a word to one of the things I think about farming. You talking about, you know, it's just you and them. I know you meant from the standpoint of like if you had to do certain elements, certain things to dog that you don't have your staff to help with.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm also like, you know, I don't want to say I'm paranoid, but I also try to have like a pretty good guard up and be prepared, because a lot of times, like I'm oftentimes by myself, and I mean, Mr. Cookie will be by himself a lot of times, and we're in the field in the middle of nowhere, and I am like, man, you know, if somebody did roll up on us here, there's like nobody, like we ain't calling the cops to come.
Like, you know, you got a lot of tools and stuff they could steal.
Oh yeah.
But like, I don't know, like a landscaping crew. I mean, I guess they could steal some tools from them and whatnot. Same thing. But like, I don't think of those guys having like wads of cash on them, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. At some point, like stealing goods just isn't that worth it, you know? I mean, unless it's something super high value, because, you know, of course they're going to pawn it off or they're going to sell it for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Just to get rid of something hot real quick. So I don't even know how that's that worthwhile.
I don't either. I'd like to see them still like my welder, like pull up and catch them.
Well, even like you have, not even counting the welder, just like hand tools that they can like carry off or like put in their vehicle. I mean, yeah, thousands of dollars worth of tools all together. But like if they just roll up to a pawn shop, like, yeah, we got these bags of tools. Like first off, they're going to know like, all right, this shit's
swipe this from somebody.
But two, they're going to give them like $100 for, they ain't going to give them nothing for like it. To me, that ain't even worth. I don't know how desperate a crackhead is, but I guess
I saw it yesterday. I had to go up here to 51 Pawn. I had a gun delivered, and the guy, because I was like, it caught me off guard when I walked in. I thought it was a hobo in there, and I walked in, and they said something about there's one of them Hankses or something, and I turned around, and I won't say his name. On air, not that he's listening, and he wouldn't even know what's going on. He's a space cadet, but he had showed up. They said because he left, and the woman was like, "I don't give a shit if he ever comes back." Like they were not happy.
Was he trying to sell some shit?
He pawned a weed eater, and it was brand new, and he's pawned it for $60. And then they said they watched him. He walked out. For reference, our pawn shop is right next door to a liquor store. And they said that he walked out and they watched him walk straight over to the liquor store.
He spent the
$60 on some alcohol, probably like Everclear or something. I gave this guy a ride one day. He showed up. He has had so many DUIs, he rode a lawnmower. Like no joke. He pulled up. We were down at the grain bins one day and a lawnmower pulls up and it's this guy. And he's like, man, I need a ride. And he's slurring. And I'm like, I'll give you a ride. He lives right up the road. So I was going that way. So I was like, I'll give you a ride, whatever. And he gets in and he's got a jug with him. And I'm like, what is that? Like I asked him, like, what the hell is that? He's like, oh man, my fruit punch. Like you can barely understand him, but he said it's his fruit punch. And it was, I'm pretty sure he had like, probably Kool-Aid fruit punch, but it was mixed with Everclear.
Yeah.
And he was just drinking the hell out of it, riding his lawnmower. And I had a video of him. I kind of videoed it because it was comical. I'll have to try to find it. But he told me he loved me when he was getting out of the truck. Like I dropped him off. He was like, I love you, man. And I was like, all right, well, I'll see you later. And but pawned a weed eater for $60. So, yeah, I don't know how that works, and nobody carries cash anymore.
Yeah. I like good old fashioned, like a stick up, like doesn't hardly work these days. Like
no, and if you stole their card, their card's going to be dead before you even get to the ATM to steal their money.
Yeah, but the only way it's not is if you steal it and they don't realize it. But yeah, obviously if they're like holding you up at gunpoint, right away. But I don't see. Well, and even like if you got $100 in your wallet and they take it, well,
is that really worth it?
Yeah, $100 don't get you shit. You'd have to be like a crackhead.
Yeah,
because otherwise you start doing the math on the risk reward of getting $100. Like
you spent $50 in gas just getting to the guy.
Yeah. So,
but I say all that to say, like farmers especially, man, I encourage you, man, carry, be armed because we are out in the middle of nowhere, which that was. One thing Mr. Cookie said his wife was like, he was like, well, should I carry a gun out here? And she's like, well, I don't know. And she's like, what if somebody came up on y'all? And he goes, well, all I know is they better get the drop on Logan because that son of a bitch has some firepower. So I said, I don't get too far away from something. Yeah. So what are you looking like? What's the cattle scenario looking like right now?
Man, if I can keep all my bull penises functioning and
how many are functioning now? You were down to like 1 out of 5 or something.
So I've got one bull back with my heifers that he seems to be, for all practical purposes, 100%. He never had a penis issue. His was just a foot. He was lame, but he's good to go.
What about your buddies?
All my heifer breeding on them is reliant on that one bull. And say I'd borrowed or leased a bull from a buddy.
Yeah.
And I was going to run those 2 bulls, my heifers. Well, he's the one that totally ruined his. Like he has he has bred his last cow or heifer.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah.
What do you do? Break his wiener?
I think he damaged a ligament that runs down the middle of it that keeps it straight and everything. That's the only thing I can figure. But
He was just getting after it too hard.
I guess so. He's
Dang.
done at home. My 3 bulls there, which that's 3 was one more than I needed. One does have a problem with his sheath, but I think he's probably okay. But we're going to sell him because he keeps having the same issue.
Yeah.
One has been fine all along, and one does actually have a sore foot. I had to treat it yesterday, but I think he's going to be fine here in just a day or two. But yeah, prices are good. Like, my God,
They're strong.
yeah, I mean which they needed to be, and I mean the fundamentals are there to support it. I mean the numbers are just down, and which heck, I think I'm gonna make money on these heifers, or I stand to, even if I get them bred or not.
Yeah.
But Lord, what we look at what bred heifers should be bringing by this fall, I'm like, it's gonna be a shame if I don't get the majority of them bred.
So you mean, like, even into the fall, the prices look strong?
Yeah, they look even stronger into the fall. Really.
So is that because partly our prices are looking shittier and shittier by the day?
Well, yeah, I mean we're praying for rain and hoping there's a bumper corn crop.
Yeah.
Because and it's not perfectly inverse, but yeah, if all of a sudden we get into a major drought and the corn crop looks short and corn prices go up, that will have a negative effect on feeding cattle, which will have a negative effect on everything else.
Yeah. It is interesting how they're usually opposites almost.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just because corn and just grains in general are like the biggest, input cost to feeding cattle. So, yeah, I know that they, up through the Corn Belt and like the Midwest, there's some areas that are pretty dry, so we need them to catch some rains. But, yes, the cattlemen want there to be a bumper corn crop.
See, and I would rather have a bumper corn crop and the prices be lower. Like, because one, I've said it on here before, like in the years where we had lower prices, but made, you can make the good yield, I always made more money. I made more money because in the year when the prices get high, so does everything else.
Right. Yeah. The farmer doesn't make the extra money. Everybody else does. So
No.
Everybody's selling all the inputs, selling the equipment, the landowners are, getting more for rent. But yeah, so that's, and I don't know, other than the bull problems, we've been in pretty good shape. We, I don't know, we got over the last of our hay ground. I'm looking at going ahead and upgrading tractors. I don't know.
Going to get rid of the John Deere.
I say I am, but I got a trade-in quote, and man, they hurt my feelings.
What was it?
And I think the first quote he got me, because I was like, man, he's like, I'll ask around because the dealer I was dealing with.
You don't have to say it on air in case we have a listener interested in purchasing.
Right, yeah, you're right. I don't want to show all my cards. But it was significantly less than I gave for the tractor. And I mean, I've had it a year and put like 20 hours on it. Like, it ought to be, I mean, I have heard it none. Like, it should be worth what I paid for it, basically.
Yeah.
And then he got back to me. He's like, man, one guy offered us like, and it was even less than that. I was like, what? I was like, dude, I'll keep the tractor for that. Like, it's worth that to me just to look at it. And say I own a John Deere tractor. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And man, yesterday I ran that sucker raking hay. Air conditioner ran me out of there.
Well, there you go.
Which was nice because my Kubota, the new tractor, which I say new, it's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Ah, dang. They did come out and look at it on Tuesday. I called the dealer.
What was the deal going on with it?
I knew it had a leak because I could smell the refrigerant. He said it's in the evaporator, which I was like, shit. Like, hell, I don't know. I'm like, I'm glad I called you out because I can do some basic mechanicing. That's what he was like. He's like, are you going to need this tractor anytime soon? Because it's a kind of a bitch to get to it. You had to take the seat out and everything. I was like,
you said, man, I'll get this. You just tell me what to do.
I said, I got to bale hay tomorrow. He's like, all right. He's like, I'll put it all back together. I was like, I appreciate it. 'Cause I'm sorry, but I was like, yeah, I can't just leave it sitting there for the next week.
Who'd you, did Wooten up there? Is that who you go through?
I went first choice.
Cause I hate that Wooten went all Kubota. Cause that used to be where we'd get our parts for our planters and everything. And now you can't get any, now we got to go all the way to Brownsville.
I've got a connection to the boys at First Choice, and they've got an office they call it Memphis, but I think it's more like Eads.
Yeah.
Hell, they were on it too. I called them, and I didn't think it, because I did not buy that tractor for them. I've done a little business with them, never on a tractor, more on some implements. All right, yeah, man, we'll have him out. And so I'll give them a shout out. They had to order parts, should be in next week. Should have me up and going, but yeah, I baled hay with no air conditioning, which, I had some comments on the videos like, oh, I always used open station tractor. I was like, buddy, open station is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm in an enclosed, I'm in a cab with no air conditioning. And that tractor, no, it doesn't.
Oh, really?
This tractor.
Oh, your Kubota?
That tractor has 4 pieces of glass in it.
Does the back one open out?
Yeah, but the back window is massive. Yeah. And yeah, it's just, it's almost too big.
Yeah.
And both doors will open. But my problem is my monitor is mounted to my glass on my passenger door.
Yeah.
And so I can't really open it.
And if you open the other one, it'll rattle and probably break.
I would open I bailed most of it with the driver's side door open.
Yeah.
But if I got on any sort of a uphill that way, it would want to shut. The little shock or whatever that's on that door is not strong enough. And so then whenever I'd turn around, I'd come back the other way, I'd open it again. I was redneck as hell.
You can't, dude. That's something.
When I got home, like, you don't realize how hot it is in there till you get out, and it's like 90 degrees outside, and you're like, oh, this feels so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was, well, that 7140. We've been pulling the disc with it. It pulls the crap out of the disc. And the day that I showed him how to pull the disc, taught him how to do it and all that, everything was good. And this got a brand new compressor on it. The day I showed him how to run it, it was like, it got up into like the 90s. And man, even my John Deere is a 2004 model. That 7140 is like a 92 model.
Yeah.
And man, even my John Deere, even my sprayer, it's a 2013. When it gets really, really hot, they have a really hard time like blowing good cold air out. Like you still get you'll get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like that was one of the things. We went to spray, and we were talking to one of my landlords, and this guy was a farmer from back in the day. He's one of my favorite people. We were talking to him, and Mr. Cookie was bitching about the air conditioner in that 7140. He was like, ah, damn, he's got the good air. He puts me in this one with this shitty air conditioner. And I said, he don't understand. When it's this hot outside, it's hot. It's just hot in there. And the guy that we were talking to, he was like, oh yeah. He was like, it don't matter. He said, whenever I was coming up, he said, obviously we had a lot of open cab. He said, I'll never forget, we got like this John Deere, and he said the windows would go barely open up on the side. And he said, and the air never worked. And he said, you would be dying in that thing. And I would rather run the 1066 open cab than a enclosed cab that you can't stay in one that the air don't work. Like with that 8310R that Frankie and them had, I was at 205 running a turbo till. The air quit working, and it has the big door that opens there and the big window that opens in the back. Well, if you open the big one in the back at turbo till, it was dry and the dust was rolling up, and it would roll straight up into the window, and it would like flood the cab. You couldn't stay in the tractor. So I remember I'd have to shut the glass, and just, you can't, if you open the door, it was rattling so much you're scared you're going to break the whole glass. So I remember running it, and it was super hot. And I think the thing had the little temperature in there, and I think it said it was like 120 in the cab. And like, I would run it for a while, and I remember stopping when I could feel my pulse in my head. Like my heart was pulsating in my head, and I was like, probably need to get out of here. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to talk shit whenever they hear somebody being like, oh, they're bitching about their air conditioner.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I hope come next week. But yeah, that 4030, it ran cold. That's what a bunch of people are like, the air conditioner work. And I've been honest. I'm like, it works.
Yeah.
Like I have had it give me little issues, but yeah, it blew colder yesterday. And then, yeah, I raked with it. But it does have the windows that you can pop out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a 50-year-old tractor. You better do it cautiously.
Yeah.
You kind of look at it, you're like, it's a little bit rickety looking, but.
Well, what are you going to get?
Well, that's the thing. I had, my dilemma is I've talked to our Kubota dealer, and I had no intention on buying a new tractor. But I called a buddy who sells for him. I was like, man, that's what I want. I want to find something used, stripped down. Like, I just need a 2-wheel drive, like 70 horse on the low side. I'd really rather it probably be closer to, 90.
Yeah.
I could do anything with it in the hayfield. Doesn't matter. And he's like, we don't have on much used stuff. He's like, I'll look through our whole system because I got a bunch of locations. He's like, he went in and priced me some new ones. They have less than 1% financing on new ones, 0.99%.
Yeah. For how long? 60?
72 months.
Well, isn't that what John Deere has?
Maybe they do.
It was 0. They had 0% interest for at least 60.
It's 0.99. I was like, shit. Like right now, hell, I just got a letter. My line of credit went up.
Oh, you're ready to roll, man. Just
like,
strike a check today.
I was like, oh my God. Like, a line of credit's nearly 9% right now.
Oh yeah, my line of credit. Oh, you talking about the interest rate? I thought you meant they increased your amount.
Oh no.
Yeah, line of credit. Mine keeps. Yeah, I get letters. It keeps going worse and worse.
And so I'm like, well, shit. Like, that's free money they're giving away. There's one on auction. An auction is Saturday, and it is exactly what I told him I wanted. It is stripped down. It's 2-wheel drive. It is cabbed. It's only got the 4-speed transmission instead of the 6, which, I mean, I'd rather have the 6, but I can do so I don't know what it'll bring.
How many remotes?
Just one.
Just one remote?
Yeah.
Do you not need more than that?
No, for pretty much everything in the hayfield, all I need is one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that's right.
Disc mower, raking, or even putting a baler on it. All I need is one.
Hell, the disc mower, I guess, just has one hookup, don't it? Just one hose.
Yeah. Disc mower is just one hose, and everything else is just 2 hoses.
Okay.
One.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, it'll never fail. Like, if I get it, like,
you'll need some more remotes.
Oh, I wish I had another remote. I could do this or whatever.
Yeah.
But, no, and so it's in my mind. I'm like, all right, that thing's really stripped down. It's like it's about a 10-year-old tractor. It's got like 500 hours on it.
Oh, well, then, yeah, pretty much brand new then.
So, and it's a little ways away. It probably cost about $1,000 to get it here.
Yeah.
But man, you don't ever know. I just hope there's nobody there that wants it.
Yeah.
I already put in my pre-bid, which I put my pre-bid I put in is about half of what it probably should go for.
Yeah.
So if I went on the pre-bid, I will be tickled pink.
Yeah. When is it? Saturday?
Yeah. So
when you got about a minute to go is when I start really watching.
Well, my thing is I got to watch because it is a massive auction. I got to look and it's like pages upon pages of shit.
So it'd probably take who knows how long for them to even get to it.
Well, I'm like, I already know I've got kind of my agenda, what I got to get done on Saturday. I'm like, well, shit, like, I hope they'll get, like, I can get like a text alert or something like 20 minutes ahead of time.
Well, is it auction time?
Yeah.
They have been the last several things I've bid on.
But it's an on-site auction too, so it's not like an in time. Like it'll be.
Well, I don't know how that'll work then, because see, auction time has been calling me 20 minutes before, but these have all been only online.
They may have somebody on this one because this is a big auction company that has this tractor. Yeah, but
you will get an email. I'm pretty sure you get an email from them because I get emails and it'll be like your auction is coming, your item is coming up.
Yeah.
So I'd have your alerts on that.
Yeah.
But well,
we'll see. I don't know. That kind of got prompted because I've had a little bit of that trouble out of my Kubota, and I thought I was going to have to put this mower on that 40-30 the other day, but I guess I missed that last week. The hydraulic issue ended up being nothing. I fixed it myself.
What was it?
It was just basically, and I don't have all my terminology right, I had to take the shields off so I could see.
Yeah.
And once I did, it was clear where all the levers and all, or the joystick comes down into that and works everything. One of them had just backed out. I was like, oh, damn. Like it was an easy fix. I mean,
well, hey, I'm proud of you.
I mean, it was one of those things, and I would have tackled it sooner, but when I knew I had the air conditioner problem too, I was like, I'm just going to technician come out.
Yeah.
But once I saw that, now I had to mow without air conditioning.
Yeah.
But that was fine. I did the same thing.
Well, I'm proud. And you felt good afterwards. You were like, I did that.
Oh, yeah. When I'm able to fix a problem.
It's a good
I'm like,
feeling.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I still fix this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, you got our brave leader.
Brave, fearless commander-in-chief. Where is he? Yeah, we need to get him on the soundboard there.
We do, yeah. We got to get him on here and get rid of crickets.
Crickets are cool, though, man, especially this time of year.
I want to get, what was that thing I sent you? Caracol?
Caracol, I don't even know how you say it.
Start off with 2 words. Made in America.
All right, well, I got a company, and, I mean...
Have you ever put the list on the website? Because I had somebody else ask me about that.
No, I need to.
Yeah.
I saw, somebody left us a review. We always appreciate the reviews.
Yes,
we ask for them. It's actually been a little while since we've had a new one. So we're really due at least 1 or 2 more reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen. But, no, I need to do that. But this is a company, and, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's American owned, but it's hard to get much more American than this. So I wore the shirt for them, shoot on mute, and it's Silencer Central.
Silencer Central.
And I've got a silencer. Are they
the ones that have the little kiosk at the store?
No, that's Silencer Shop.
Okay.
I've used them too. They're good too. We actually shot this afternoon. We kind of took the day off after, and me and Dad and Brock went back here because I put a dead air Sandman on my AR-10, and I had not shot it yet. And so we went back here and shot it, and it's the shorter one, but it was pretty sweet. Like, it's still loud. Like, it's not like the movies. Like, I'm not going to be able to go.
So I was about to say, because that's what I found my 22. Like, you can't shoot high velocity ammo with it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you can, but you're like, oh. But if you shoot like standard velocity or like sub, it's.
I guess is there subsonic 308? I'm sure there is.
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask. But like on the 22, you can get all sorts of different velocities and all. If you get even just standard velocity, it's pretty sweet shooting a 22 with a silencer.
Well, I have a 300 Blackout, and I have some subsonic rounds for it. I bet it would sound pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool shooting it though, because it took the crack off the round that like hurts your ears. Because I shot Dad, all of us were standing there, and I shot like 8 or 10 rounds through it with no ear protection on, which I've been around straight pipe 1066 forever. So, I mean, I don't hear that great anyways.
Yeah.
But there was no ringing in my ears. Like, it did suppress enough. And I've got a Banish 30 or a Banish 30 coming, and it's 9 inches long. So it's supposed to be like super quiet, and I'm going to put it on an AR-15. So, I'm getting it through Silencer Central, and they're really cool because, they send it to your house. You don't get it, like, the silencer comes straight to you. Like with Silencer Shop, it still has to go to like the dealer.
Yeah.
And Silencer Central, they do everything for you. They set up the trust for you. You answer some questions, and they send you, I've actually got to do it. They send you the ink and the little fingerprint stuff, and you got to do it and send it in. Because, you got to give the ATF all the information.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah.
They could come in and, like I said, just walk right in my house. But they'd do it anyways. They'd find a reason to come in if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Might be greeted in a certain way.
How do they leave?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I told Mr. Cookie when we were talking about them guys coming up on us, I said they might get me, but I'm going to take 1 or 2 of them with me in the process. But no, Silencer Central. It's really easy. And actually, the cool thing, they called me after I ordered, and they kind of talked about what I wanted, and we actually changed my order a little bit after I made it. Because they were like, man, you want this? And we went over what I was doing, what kind of build I'm doing and stuff. And they talked me into the Banish 30. I was originally doing just the Banish 223, but he was like, man, I think you'll like this one better. And so they'll work with you. You can kind of tell them. So it was really a good, an enjoyable process. So still got to wait probably a year to get the stupid thing.
My last one, took me, it was like 371 days.
Dang. A little over a year.
It was right. I mean, it was over a year just by less than a week.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, it's one of those deals and they tell you to forget about it.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten about it. Like, actually, when I got the call, because my dad and I have the same name,
Yeah.
same first name, and of course last, different middle names. But when the gun store called me, I just assumed they were calling him about a gun that he had ordered or something.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, your suppressor's here." I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "I'll be damned. I'd given up on that thing."
Yeah.
And went down there and got it.
I think that's exactly what I told him. I was like, I'd done given up on it. Like, I'd forgotten about it. I wonder how much they hear that. I bet they hear a bunch of people say, like, shit, I forgot about that thing.
Like, I talked to them. I was like, "Man, mine took over a year." They're like, "Yeah, like they usually don't take that long." I was like,
I think mine took right at a year.
Some of that shit we were saying about the ATF on the podcast.
Yeah, they're like, those bastards talk so much shit about us.
They're like, keep that one on the bottom of the stack.
Yeah. Oh, when Silencer Central called me, like, we got to talking, and I mean, our conversation quickly went to banishing the ATF. Like, I was like, I just want them to be gone. And he was like, oh, I understand. Like, it became like very anarchy very quickly on the phone call. But you're speaking to like-minded individuals. So silencercentral.com, they got a good selection to pick from. And I'll give a shout out to Silencer Shop. That was a very easy process as well.
That's what I've used. I've used them a couple times now.
Yeah, that and it's nice because the kiosk is there and you can do everything. But it's the same. They both set up the trust for you and stuff like that. So check it out. Get you some suppressors. Save your ears and get you some suppressors. They're awesome. And that's about it. We do ask if you're watching, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. We're trying to grow the channel. I will reach back out this week to Alan, try to see I had followed up with him and he said he still wasn't sure on the timeline, but I feel like the smoke has kind of cleared now, or the dust has cleared a little.
Yeah, I hadn't kept up with any of it anymore.
Yeah, so I'll see if we can get Alan in here because I still think it'd be pretty cool to talk to him about it.
Yeah, just some of the ins and outs, just even just how it works.
Yeah.
Like,
why does Kelsey hate you? You know, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to get some behind the scenes. So I will reach back out to him. And yeah, guys, leave us a rating and a review. Hats are supposed to be in. We have ordered hats.
Yeah, I don't think we've shared that on here yet. Yeah, we finally got a design done. I give my wife a little shout out. She worked on getting them ordered for us, so we'll have hats at some point. Don't know what we're going to do with them.
Yeah, we got to give some to some people that have left ratings. You know, we said we would. It says "Talk Dirt to Me," and it's got a naked woman in the center of it, like on there. You know, we figured that would fit our theme really well.
Right. It's got the pride flag on the back.
Yes, yeah, we wanted to be very inclusive. And I mean, the silhouette of the woman it doesn't show much in the lower regions. Like, you don't know, is it a tranny?
Well, is it a woman?
Not? Is it a woman? That's true.
It's like Matt Walsh. What is a woman?
Yeah, nobody could hardly answer that question. So, no, it does not have that on it, but it will have the logo, and I think they look pretty sharp. Hopefully, when we get them, we'll be happy, and we'll hook up those of you that have left us a review. We still stand by what we were saying. If you leave us a rating and a review, let us know now. Let us know, and we'll hook you up.
There you go.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Have a good one.